Think before breaking your marriage. Watch this first. Are you standing at a crossroads in your marriage, feeling like divorce is the only way out? Before making a decision that will change your life forever, you need to be aware of the hidden emotional and legal traps that many couples often overlook. So many people think ending a marriage means the pain is over, but for many, it's just the start of a different kind of struggle. Divorce is often ranked as one of the most stressful things a person can go through, with some studies placing it right behind the death of a spouse. This isn't meant to scare you. It's intended to prepare you. We're going to walk through the realities that catch so many by surprise, not so you'll stay in a miserable situation, but so you can make your next move with your eyes wide open. The emotional undertow you don't see coming. First, let's talk about the emotional fallout, because it's so much bigger than people expect. It's more than just sadness, it's a full-on grieving process. You're not just losing a partner, you're losing a shared dream, an identity, and the future you built in your head. This can unleash a storm of intense emotions, from anger and anxiety to guilt and even shame. For many, these feelings don't just fade in a few weeks, they can linger for months, sometimes years, especially if the divorce gets messy. This isn't just in your head, either. This kind of chronic stress can take a real toll on your health. Divorced individuals face a higher risk for depression, anxiety disorders, and substance abuse. The stress can even weaken your immune system, making you more likely to get sick. A lot of people are blindsided by this, thinking relief will be instant the moment the papers are signed. For some, it is. But for most, the emotional journey is just getting started. It can also rock your social life. Friends often feel like they have to pick sides, which can leave you feeling completely isolated right when you need support the most. The financial shockwave and legal maze. The next hidden trap is the financial and legal side of things. Divorce is expensive. And I don't just mean lawyer fees. Think about it, the same amount of money that supported one household now has to stretch to support two. For almost everyone, that means taking a hit to your standard of living. But it's the hidden costs that really sting. You might lose your home or your financial security, which brings its own kind of grief. Suddenly, you're dealing with costs you never had to think about before, like setting up a whole new place, paying for your own health insurance, or shouldering debts you thought were shared. A divorce can even tank your credit score, making it harder to buy a car or a new home down the line. And the legal process itself? It can be a long, emotionally draining marathon, often taking 7 months or even longer to finalize. Fights over assets, things you might not have even considered marital property, can turn bitter and expensive, fast. The unspoken ripple effect on children. And then there's the one that keeps most parents up at night, the long-term impact on the kids. We've all heard the saying, it's better to be from a broken home than to live in one. And in homes with a lot of conflict or abuse, that's true. But the reality of divorce itself is often misunderstood. Kids often feel a deep sense of loss, anger, and confusion. Many even feel guilty, like they're somehow to blame for the split. These feelings can show up as behavioral problems at school, anxiety, and a fear of abandonment that can stick with them for life. The stress you're feeling can easily spill over onto them, making them anxious about conflicts they can't possibly understand. This doesn't mean you have to stay together for the kids no matter what. Kids are much better off with two happy, separated parents than with two parents who are constantly at war. But it does mean you have to be ready to handle this with incredible care, put their emotional needs first, and maybe even get them into counseling. Your job as co-parents will go on long after the marriage ends, and learning to be a team for their sake is one of the most important things you can do. This is a really heavy topic, and if you're watching this, you're probably in a lot of pain. But you don't have to go through it alone. If you feel comfortable, share a piece of your story or a question in the comments. You'd be surprised how powerful it can be to read what others are going through and realize you're not the only one. The alternative most people give up on too soon. Before you make that final call, there's one more thing to think about. Have you really, truly exhausted all of your options? On average, couples wait 6 years after problems start before they even think about seeking help. But marriage counseling is more successful than you might think. For example, a technique called emotionally focused therapy, EFT, has a very high success rate, with some studies showing it helps between 70 to 90% of couples. More broadly, research from the Journal of Marital and Family Therapy suggests about 70% of couples who try therapy see significant improvements in their relationship. This isn't about trying to force a broken relationship to work. It's about giving it one last, honest chance with a professional guide. Counseling gives you a safe place to learn how to talk to each other again, work through old wounds, and, if nothing else, part ways with less anger and more peace. And that alone is a priceless gift to give yourselves and your children. Deciding to end a marriage is one of the hardest things anyone can do. The point of this video wasn't to give you an easy answer, but to give you a fuller, more honest picture. It's about looking past the immediate pain to understand the long-term emotional, financial, and family consequences. So think it through. Not from a place of fear, but from a place of wisdom and strength. Whatever you choose to do, make it an informed decision. You owe that to yourself, and you owe